What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Uncle Carlton, co-host of the Two Black Kings podcast. Xavier, what's up with you, man?
What's good, kings and queens? My name is Xavier Greer. I'm also the co-host of the Two Black Kings podcast. Thank you for joining us this week.
The Two Black Kings podcast seeks to inspire a generation to equip themselves with tools to navigate life. We will be discussing topics such as financial literacy, pop culture, and relationships from the perspective of two Black kings.
Here on the Two Black Kings podcast, we want to bring you different perspectives from some of the highest achievers within their fields. While the guests we have on the show do not reflect the ideas of the co-hosts nor the companies we work for, we believe in providing you with the knowledge, tools to take your life to the next level.
Before you do anything, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Send it out to at least 5 friends and follow us on Instagram at Two Black Kings.
All right, let's get into this week's episode.
And what's up, guys? It's your boy, Uncle Carlton, back again with another podcast. Xavier, what's good with you, man?
Man, since last week, really pretty much the same old, bro. Getting the grind in, working at the little volunteering on the weekends for tax preparation. That's been cool. I've been learning a lot about that. And then, it's snowing in Dallas. So it's like we're under Snowmageddon again.
Which is crazy.
But yeah. And then
you still going to the office?
Absolutely not. My office is my house. I'll be trapping at the joint.
Bro, we're really living on the cheat code because folks think we working super hard. No, we be at the house. I mean, we work super hard, but at the house, chilling.
Yeah. Certain spurts of working hard and then chilling.
Oh, God.
Yeah, what you been up to?
I mean, nothing really. I had my first rec league basketball game and that got canceled because of the Snowmageddon. So I just went to the gym anyway, threw up some shots. Other than that, just been styling and profiling, like you like to say.
Of course.
Just chilling.
Okay.
Cool. We got a special podcast this week.
Man,
so we're gonna. Everybody has been asking me.
Yeah.
Everybody has been asking me to talk about freaking relationships, the dating market, and how to navigate it, like in more detail than we talked about in the first podcast. So we're just gonna dedicate the entire podcast to talking about what the dating market is, how to succeed, what even success is, and how to navigate it.
Yeah.
This is for men and women too.
Yes, of course.
They be
today's podcast is we gonna finally give you what the women been asking for. What 60% of our audience has been asking
for.
Bro,
it's crazy how it's the Two Black Kings, but mostly women listen to it. That's funny to me.
But speaking of Two Black Kings, we want to do the king this week. So this week, one of the things I really love about our podcast is that we have a platform to, pretty much discuss whatever we want to. And so one of the things that I am a big proponent of and been a big proponent of since high school is just, activism, rooting for everybody Black. And so this past weekend, we had a situation with Tyre Nichols and police brutality. First, I just want to say we have to speak on this just because, one, we Black, and two, we are from Memphis. So it makes sense. But the thing that I want to say, and I'll be off my soapbox after I finish this, but I had a friend this past weekend ask me about like how I was feeling about the situation. First of all, the video is absolutely gruesome. Like, police chief was saying when she first saw it, it was one of the worst things like that can come to humanity. So I knew it was going to be bad off rip. So once I actually saw the video, I think, after being able to process it, one thing I noticed is that this video, there was no different from what they did, even though it was 5 officers just manhandling and torturing this man. There's no difference between that and then, laying on somebody's neck for 8 minutes. I say that to say the swift justice that was brought to these 5 officers, and some have been arrested since then, but the swift justice that has been come to these 5 officers is very interesting just because of, one, they were Black officers. So I do appreciate the swiftness of justice. I just think it's interesting how, when other instances of police brutality, most people get let off with leave. But one thing I just wanted to focus back to is Tyre Nichols and how pretty much we all have a Tyre Nichols in our family. We have friends that look like Tyre Nichols. And so I just think it's pertinent and important to raise our Black kings up. Black men deserve to live old lives, old great happy lives.
100%.
And so yeah, we just had to dedicate the King of the Week to Tyree Nichols. So all right, Rashad.
Whew. What's the book of the week, Xavier? Men are from
Okay.
Mars, women are from Venus.
Yes. So because we're talking about relationship this week, we are talking about the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. When I tell you the first time I read this book, this was actually recommended to me by a friend in my book club. And I was like, you know what, let me just take a stab at it. And it broke it down so well. I was just like, I get it. I get it right now. Like,
let me tell you, like, the way that he broke it down, it made perfect sense for both men and women.
Yeah.
I think there was one part that me and Xavier were discussing in the book where it was like, your woman could be feeling one way, and then you give her a hug, you spin her around, and she feels completely different. And all she wanted was you to just give her a little bit of attention and to bring her mood up. And I was just like, wow, she was arguing with me about X, Y, and Z, but she wasn't actually mad at that. She was mad at something completely different. And that's what most men are missing. They're taking everything a woman does very literally, very rationally, and that is not how you win in relationships. It just isn't. And so it breaks it down, like how you should read signs, kind of how you read nonverbal language for women. And then at the same time, it breaks it down for the women and the men too. It's like, okay, if a man says something, that's what he means. Don't read anything else into it. That's exactly what he means. And women have a hard time, like, not thinking deeper into what a man's saying, but that's literally all he means. And so I just love the book because it made sense to me and made women make more sense to why they do the things that they do.
I also like one of my yeah, mic drop for sure.
Oh God.
One of my favorite things about the book, because not only did it help me with my communication towards women and how, like, you know, there may be a gap between like what I'm trying to say and what she's hearing.
Right.
It actually helped me like learn about myself. So like the whole part about men like are on this rubber band. And so sometimes like we can show the person that we're talking to such intense love, and then all of a sudden, like, yeah, I don't really want to text her this week. Like,
Man.
you really want to go into your cave and like do your own thing. And so it's hard for like on the woman's side to ask questions or try to figure out like, oh, what is wrong with him, when really he just needs some time like to himself. Like that's really what it all like boiled down to. So.
And it was crazy because it was like the more women push men
For sure
to like hang out with them when they're in their cave, the further they go. But if women were to be like, oh, okay, you do you, the man will come out very quickly.
Yeah.
So it's really like almost a reverse psychology type of thing. But the book, you should go read it. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. It'll help you in all your relationships, not just with your significant other, but with all your other male friends and all your other female friends.
For sure.
Okay, so let's hop into this questions from the viewers. So I asked a couple of people some. People ask me questions just all the time throughout my Instagram. Like, I can't necessarily respond to all of them because some of them are kind of like pretty basic. But I asked one of my friends one because I know she has a lot to say. So I was like, specifically, let me answer your question. So I'm gonna read it verbatim. If you don't know what that means, it's Latin for word for word.
I could see if you don't know.
She says, what makes a man determine whether he wants to take someone seriously? Serious friends with benefits, serious relationships, or serious situationships? Because that's a thing now, apparently, ? Like, how do you know what to look for? And what do you do with what you know? So if I had to sum that entire question up into one sentence, which I love that men can do, it's what can I do as a woman for a man to take me seriously?
And what do you think that is?
Are you want me to go first? Well, let me just tell you this, woman. Like, it just really, I feel like it's really not that hard. Like, it's really not rocket science. You guys are just doing too much. But okay. I don't know how I want to answer this.
Let me answer mine. And this is what I'm gonna tell you. So I think one of the hardest things what makes that question so hard to answer is because it looks different in every situation. Because of the modern
Exactly.
dating age, it's like the stuff that I hate really is when you ask a girl, "What do you want in a relationship?" and then she's like, "Oh, why don't guys just be honest and just say that you want sex?" And it's just like, if I were to say that I just want sex from you, would you really like one go with it, and two like how would you be okay with that? That's my question. So I think that is a hard question, but how I would approach it is what I look for in a woman when I know she's serious is that she treats everybody with like some sort of dignity, some sort of respect. She has to have a base level. Above that base level is when she shows you that she likes you. So if she's already treating you with a base level, then you're like, all right, for sure, I can actually handle this because she has an idea of what the relationship should look like going forward. I think so many women get in trouble because they don't know what they want in a relationship. And so when they get into the relationship and it's either just sex or the dude is doing too much, he's doing, boyfriend, girlfriend stuff when you really just want a sneaky link, they don't really know what they want. So they just really just let it go. So what do you think about that?
So I agree with everything you just said. I'm gonna say something a little bit different, starting from the top.
Mm,
So with me, I I've had the blessing of having amazing parents.
hmm
And when I think about them, like I can always count on them to have my back and my sister too. So that's something that's super important to me in a relationship. A person has my back. And I've been in some relationships, namely Arkansas, where I was in a relationship with someone who was just a liar. They just
mm,
lied about literally any and everything.
mm.
And it made me feel some type of way on the daily. And I never want to be in something like that. So the reason why I say this is because I think the number one quality I want in a woman is dependability.
Mm.
Like if a woman isn't dependable, I can't even mess with her. If I have to play like the texting Olympics and do all this, that, and the third,
Yeah.
then I really can't take them seriously because I'm already playing games off rip.
Man.
So that's one thing. The next thing is the woman, is she serious about herself? Like one thing I love
Oh.
about my best friend Gabby
hmm
is that she's serious about herself, her goals, and she seeks the knowledge.
Yeah.
If my woman is not seeking the knowledge, then we don't have anything to talk about because we can't go into deeper things. If you're not reading books, you're not working on your mindset,
Facts.
then how are
Facts.
you going to raise my kids? That's what I'm looking for in a woman. Like,
Yes.
okay, I'm not off rip. I'm not like, oh, can she raise my kids? But I'm asking, pertinent questions, salient questions that kind of uncover how that person thinks. And if
Yes,
it's
bro.
like, oh man, like I don't really know if she has it all the way up there, then it's going to be an immediate turnoff. And unfortunately, I am a man, so I'm going to want to still smash, but I'm not going to take her seriously. And so
Yeah.
it's going to be hard for women to determine whether a guy's going to take them seriously or not because it may just change based off the things that you say, and it's the same for men.
Yeah.
So the advice I would give women here and how to take people, like why don't people take you seriously, is you have to take yourself seriously first, and
Man.
a man is able to tell if you're taking yourself seriously based off the
Yeah.
way that you look and talk.
Yeah. And when I tell you, like, it's getting scary because me and Rashad, we just be experimenting out here. We'll say certain
Bro,
things that we already have a preconceived notion of what she's already gonna say. We're just hoping she doesn't say it. And when
we
she
just
says
hope
it,
she don't.
you just like, dang, I already know what you work for who?
Like,
Oh, I can't even do it. I can't
I
do
can't
it.
even do it. And you be like, bro, I can't even do it. But the thing is, like, the thing that hurts women is because you still would smash, but
Mhm.
then in the back of your head you would never take her seriously.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing that I have to get better at. If I see and I'm getting better at it. If I see the red flags, okay, I'm just not gonna mess with her at all. That's what I'm gonna start having to do.
You're gonna have
But
to, bro.
that's my main question or main answer to that. If you take yourself seriously, seek the knowledge,
Yeah.
and people will take you seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that leads us right into the topic of the
Mhm.
week. The dating market and dating relationships. there's one thing I want to get across before I go into the little video that we have, and that is, Xavier, what does the relationship market look like today, and how has it transformed through time? Kind of like from, I don't want to go from like, let's just say through time. So like it's
Yeah.
2023 now.
So
So
I'm
how
gonna
does it
tell
look?
you this. It wasn't until the 70s where women actually had rights. I want to say it was around 74 to 76 where a woman could actually open up her own bank account by herself.
Mm-hmm.
So I say that to say, I think dating, pre 70s was mainly a family idea. It was more of, I know this man can provide everything I need, so why don't I just mate with him and bear him some kids? That's what it was before. But I think now with the new, feminism movement, and women have gone on their own, women are able to make their own money, make their own moves. The dating age has severely changed because now
Man.
women have the option of, do I really want to get in a relationship with this man? I don't really need him. I can really just do this by myself. And so now we have a lot of independent women want to be in a relationship, but it's very hard to be in a relationship with somebody who wants to be independent.
It's impossible, really.
It is literally impossible. I think within any good relationship, there is some level of dependency that you have to have on your significant other. So if you
Oh,
don't need this man
100%.
for anything, there is no reason why you should be with him. If you don't need him for anything, there's no reason you should be with him.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and tackle that question too. So like Xavier said, 1970s, that's when women had rights.
Mm.
And so what I want to harp on is kind of his point. Women really got in a relationship out of necessity. They really
Mm-hmm.
needed a man to do the things that they wanted to do in life, have family, have money, have jobs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, because they needed men, it was never really hard for a man to get a woman because women by default needed a man. So, if you were on your grind or if you were just a man, you just had women by default. And so, the way how that's changing is because women don't need men for, monetary purposes
Mm-hmm.
and to protect themselves in the world. We have police officers and whatnot. It's moved from more of a necessity to an emotional based thing.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of relationships being a necessity, it's based out of love. And love, by definition, is fickle. Like,
Mm.
that's pretty unreliable to rely on love. If you think about throughout all of human history, relationships have never been based on love. I mean, kings got married to queens just
I ain't gonna
because
say
of
never, bro.
power.
I ain't gonna say never, but I feel like
Okay.
it was definitely relationships and marriages responding more out of like, oh, we have to keep this, family rich, so we gonna marry this group so we can have a bigger family, like, and so we can have like more access to real estate. So I think it was more of a business. It's still slick a business ploy now, but it was definitely more of a money, family, generational move previously. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. And so now it's pretty much all based on like this love
Yes,
emotion,
yes,
that this Disney fairy tale
yes.
that we've watched growing up as kids.
Hmm.
And as a result,
Hmm.
we have the highest divorce rate and the least amount of relationships ever because, as I said, love is very fickle. It changes at all times.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I'm prefacing the conversation we're about to have, Xavier,
Hmm.
because we're going to see what these women kind of think of the dating market and we're going to react to
Hmm.
it. So this is Courtney Ryan. Actually, I came across her video yesterday just on my feed. I've never watched any of her videos, but I was like, oh man, women react to the rise of lonely, single, sexless men. It's like crazy. And the reason why I'm reacting to this video, guys, is because there are women out here. I would say most women out here think that guys are just getting sex left and right.
Mm.
And that couldn't be further from the truth. It literally couldn't be further. So we're going to go ahead and see what she has to say.
Here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be talking about the rise of lonely single men and the rise of sexless men. But instead of just me talking about it, since I've already covered this pretty in depth on my channel, I wanted to bring other girls on and get their opinion, what they think's going on, if they think women play any type of role in this. So I'm sitting down with 7 girls today, and we're going to be talking all about it.
Actually, before we get into it, do you think women play a role in men being lonely, single, and sexless?
I mean, of course, man.
Oh, you're gonna be pissed when you hear this. You're gonna be pissed
about it. Let's get into it. So studies are showing that there's a decrease in men having sex. So a third of men under the age of 30 are sexless, and there's also a rise in lonely single men. If you had to guess,
did you hear that? A third. That's 33.333333% of men are sexless under 30. You know how many men there are in America? There's like crazy. 20 million. So if you take 33% of that, that's, I don't know what the number is, but that's a large portion of men.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Why do you think this is the case?
I think dating is a lot different than it was back then, especially with social media and everything.
Okay, Ashley.
That's going on. I think men also these days too are sometimes more afraid to talk to women than they used to, I guess.
Xavier, are men afraid to talk to women nowadays?
For sure. I'm not even gonna speak for all men. I think, but I definitely think there are some men that's scared.
Sure. Why do you think men are scared to talk to women? Because I completely agree with you.
I think it's more of a communication style. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I think it's because,
from my perspective, it's more so they're just afraid. They could be like nervous that the girl's gonna like reject them. Some people are just scared of a rejection. Like, that's why I don't think. But yeah, what do you think?
I think it's because, you have so many women on social media like airing guys out for being at the gym trying to talk to them, or going down the street trying to talk to them. And like, even though that's few and far between, those videos get very viral. They go viral. I mean, we had the whole Me Too movement and stuff like this. So what a lot of men that I find that I help a lot of times, they say, look, like, I'd rather just not talk to women completely. And I'm just like, you know what? If that's how you rationalize it, then that's really not a horrible solution to the problem, because you can grind and you can do your thing on the side. So that's what I think is. I think it's like women just airing people out for approaching them. So continuing.
But I don't know. I was just talking to a friend about this. I think just dating in general has completely shifted. It's harder now. It's a lot harder to have genuine connections, or even people you want to hook up with.
Genuine connections.
Bumble and all that stuff.
That's true.
That would be my answer.
That's true.
I really think it's because women stopped caring about douchebags. And I know that's not the best word to use, but guys that don't put in effort and don't care and don't want to actually value women for who they are gonna be lonely, because
you know what's wrong? You know what's wrong with what she just said? She's only talking about a very small percentage of guys. She's talking about the douchebags, who are usually the top 1% of men, which all the women are paying attention to. So let me just go ahead and get into it, because I've been wanting to get into this for women, because they don't understand what I'm saying. As we just learned, 33.33333% of men are sexless below the age of 30. So if you take that, then you only have 66% of men left. So what women don't understand is, because of feminism, and because of the women's rights movement, everything that's happened, which I completely agree with, I think is great. But moving past that, you guys now have jobs, you are making money. So now, because you're hypergamous, which you stated in the last podcast, if you're making a certain amount of money, or you see yourself on a certain level, it's hard for you to date lower than what you are now. So if you're a woman and you're making $80,000, it's very unlikely that you're going to go mate with a man that's making $50,000.
Ain't no way.
And you're going to go and search for those men that are making $90K, $100K, $110, $120, even $400. And those men are few and far between. I think I saw a stat that said at 25 years old, only 1% of men makes over $80,000. And so the reason why this argument that she's saying is disingenuous is because you have 90% of women only chasing 10% of the guys and then complaining about those 10% of guys because he's a douchebag. He doesn't
be
put
the
in
same
effort.
dude.
But if he does, he's not putting in effort because he has 6 women hitting up his line.
Man.
And I can attest to that. Xavier can attest to that. We don't do much at that point now because we've grown and we don't really be trying to have a roster. But like sometimes I can't give women attention because I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff and it just looks like I'm a douchebag.
Yeah. I definitely get
Continuing.
Women are becoming a lot more independent and they're becoming a lot more confident in being themselves, that they don't need no man. So I find that rise probably comes from those guys that don't want to put in that extra effort and actually put their pride aside and make a woman feel loved.
I feel like a lot of it might have to do with maybe like working remote, since we're also I feel like I'm at home a lot more than like I ever was before.
Damn, that's a good point. What do you think? How do you think COVID affected the dating market?
That just destroyed it. It definitely destroyed it. Like any sense of it, of me going out, and it was unfortunate because I feel like 2020 was like my first year of like being an adult, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be doing nothing. That just was inside.
Doing nothing, bro. And it's crazy because like I feel like COVID, I feel like the world is completely different because before COVID, I just didn't take things seriously. But after COVID, everything got super serious out of nowhere. And so like people are walking around like they're kind of ducking and dodging you, still wearing their masks. And so I feel like a lot of people are just more standoffish in general
Yeah,
than
for
they
sure.
were before COVID.
For sure.
And so it's kind of and since men are primarily approaching women, it's kind of like made us not want to approach anyone, just stick to ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's all men to blame, or do you think that women play a role in this? Because there are a lot of single women too.
Yeah. I don't think it's all men to blame. I just think people are not as good with interacting with each other these days, and they'll go on Tinder or something, to look for a hookup, but that's so much different and harder to connect with people than like back when you would just meet someone, which I'm not saying you have to just go meet someone on the street, especially because...
Xavier, do you think men are to blame or what?
Bro, I think it's both parts. If somebody's single, it's a 2-part problem. That means you either not getting the women that you want, or you getting the wrong women that like you, or a little bit of both.
So how do you even fix that problem, bro?
Honestly, I don't even know. I'm trying to fix that problem now. It's just like when I do the things that you would think that you would need to do to make it, or I hate to say make a girl like you, but like convince the girl to like you. When you do those things, you find out that those things do not work.
Bro, and that's the worst part. Because
so
like we've been told, we've been told all our lives, oh, bring her flowers, be a simp, et cetera, et cetera. We've been told this by our mothers and by other women. And then as soon as you start to do it,
man,
the women go straight the other way. They go straight the other way. And like, and this is the thing. And I'm just going to get into a monologue here real fast, and we're going to come back to this video. But here's the thing. The reason why like women have a hard time understanding this is because they're only seeing it from their perspective. And they're only dating a certain type of guy. If they were to go date average guys, then it's like, okay, then that advice might work. Because average guys are doing it. But women are not dating those guys. They're fighting for the top 10%. And those guys aren't doing it. So what it looks like to men is, okay, these top 10% of guys are not doing X, Y, Z. And so if what they're doing is clearly working, so I'm going to stop doing X, Y, Z. And that's what's happening in the dating market right now.
Bro.
Men have just said, look, what we're doing isn't working. What they're doing is working. So we're all going to try to shift over there. And now all women are getting, played, quote unquote.
Yes.
Because that's what men are saying is working, because you keep going after the players.
And that's the biggest problem between the whole dating market, is that guys and girls are looking at the top 10% of their their gender and thinking that, ooh, if I were to reciprocate whatever she's doing, then maybe I can get a man to do what she got a man to do. And it's just like, bro, that is not it at all. Because the biggest solution that comes from that top 10%, that how they get the women that they want, how they get the men that they want, is they are 100% being themselves, bro. They do not have to act outside of themselves. They don't have to act like nobody that they aren't. They literally just have to be themselves, and their money and their status is going to speak for themselves.
It's going to speak for itself.
And so that's one of the biggest reasons why, I'm talking to our kings. That's one of the biggest reasons why you're not getting the woman that you really want, is because you're trying to be somebody else when really you just need to be yourself. And if you're not being yourself, then she doesn't like you. Doesn't
like you. And that's what people don't get.
And Rashad, I want you to speak, because we talked about this past week, the conversation you and Gabby had about how niggas is just weird. And that is so important, because I want to acknowledge it to our fans. It's like, we get it, bro. There is some of my the girlfriends that I know, they'll tell me stuff that dudes have DM'd them. I'm just like, ain't no way.
And so let me preface this by saying, this is a men's help podcast primarily. And so we're trying to help, as we said, men not be weird. Mm-hmm. And so this is exactly how you not be weird. Yeah. And so, first of all, if you don't have a girl best friend, you need to get one immediately.
Sleep. That should be a biggest code. That should be like a line in the book of game, bro.
Bro, you need a girl best friend.
Yeah, good looking girl best friend.
Excuse my language, but fuck what everybody's talking about when they're saying, "Oh, girls and guys can't be friends." Yeah. Look, if you value a girl's conversation and her advice over the sex, you can be friends with her no matter what. Fact. That's how me and Gabby are, and that's why we're been friends for 7-8 years because of that. So you need a girl best friend because she gives you so much game on what women are doing, what women are liking,
for sure.
How men are treating them, what she's going for, what she's not going for. And you could just take all these notes, and then when you're going on dates, you can literally not say the things. Like, for instance, and this is the first step in not being weird. She was like, man, I was on this date, and I hate it when guys be like, oh, you must be talking to other guys, because it gives insecurity. And I was like, I am so sure that many guys are joking and saying, you must have other niggas or something like that. And that just turns women completely off when you say that. And your chances of, becoming the next guy that she messes with goes down.
Zero.
And so
zero.
And so another reason why you need a girl best friend is because she has other friends that are girls that you can connect with.
Throwing lives.
Don't let her be fine.
Man.
And you can just connect with her other fine friends. Man. It's literally a cheat code. I don't know why people are not doing this.
And your best friend is going to tell them all the greatest qualities about you because y'all are best friends off rip. So these girls know what's up when you first talk to them, bro.
Exactly. And one thing I had to realize too is I went on a little date last weekend. It was a great date, but when we were on the date, she was telling me how she's kind of fickle about dating because she doesn't she doesn't necessarily always feel comfortable, or she doesn't want to be nervous or be awkward. And I'm like, what does she mean? But I'm biased. I know I'm not overbearing or uncomfortable or awkward. But when I was talking to old girl, she was like, or Gabby, she was like, oh yeah, if I were to label it, I would say 8 out of 10 men are weird, because dudes come up to her at the club and they be super nervous, and that nervous energy is being transferred to her, and now she's nervous and uncomfortable, and she doesn't want to be in that encounter anymore.
Yeah.
And I say that to say you need to get more comfortable talking to women. That's why you need a girl best friend, and you need to realize that most men that women encounter are weird. So they're going to have most men are weird bias in their head. And so when they're flaking on you on the date, it's because they probably are assuming that you're a weirdo and they just don't want to go through that right now.
Yeah.
And so you should really feel more empathetic towards women when they're flaking or when they're not texting you back, because they're trying to see if this guy is crazy or not. pretty much.
And that doesn't mean, because I hate the whole toxic culture and how we've like celebrated that shit. It doesn't mean like hit her up every single day. Then like when she blocks you, you try to email her, and when she try to block you from the you, like that shouldn't be a thing. Like, you know, if she likes you off rip. Like, and even if you know, all right, let me just push the envelope. Let me text her 2 or 3 more times. And if she doesn't text you after that, bro, you know what's up, bro.
Stop. If a girl likes you, she's going to hit you up more times than you're going to hit her up.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, we've been through this too much. Like, we know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I be trying to tell men. Like, you need to be reading books. You need to be having a girl best friend. And you need to be, you know, empathizing with women if you want to get them. Because at this point, they don't need you. It's a want. So what makes a woman want you? If you're a weirdo and you're clingy and you're low-key crazy, why would she want that in her life? She doesn't.
I don't know nobody.
And if you're just a dick, then why would she want that? Because she can get that anywhere.
Yeah.
So you need to bring something more to the table, King,
than
weirdness and sex. You have to. And that's what we're trying to present to you with the real estate, with the finances, with the gym, with the mindset. We're trying to present all this to you in a pretty package, but you guys just don't get it.
Man.
You guys just want to tell you about what's wrong with girls, and there's nothing wrong with women. They're just women. Stop complaining. Stop complaining.
And this is one of the things I was like telling Rashad, that, you know, I obviously love talking about relationships. He definitely likes talking about them a little bit more than I do. But I wanted to make sure that when we did this podcast and do topics like this, that we're not like the Andrew Tates and like the you know, the Kevin Samuels, like all that. Like, we're not some like women hating group. Like, we're just not above. We're not with that. We love women.
We love women.
We would just like to get over the hump of, 1, toxicity, and 2, get out of the hump of I need to be somebody more than myself, and rather just being yourself and concentrating on what you need to get done is the most important thing that you can do for you, yourself, your family, anybody around you. Come on now.
100%, bro. 100%. Like, there's nothing else to say about that. So let's go back into this video. So what they asked this woman, we skipped ahead a little bit, is what do you look for in a man in a relationship? They've asked these women, and this is one of my preferred responses. So I'm gonna let this play and example. You tell me what you think.
For me, I look for good communication skills. I think communication is everything in a relationship.
We just talked about this. If you don't have a girl best friend, there's no way for you to know how to communicate with women.
Right.
Period.
Friendship is more important to me than romance at the end of the day, because you can have passion and you can have a great sex life or whatever, but if we're fighting and we're not aligning mentally, you can find passion and good sex from a ton of people, but I think friendship and just really getting along here is the most important thing, because that's rare. So that's what I look for: style, humor, getting along with my friends, being friendly, great manners, obviously. But yeah, I think the mental is really what matters to me the most.
I'm looking for a hardworking guy that's honest, loves his mom, really takes care of himself, and has a little bit of like a boundary. You know, I like to get my way. I don't really like to be told no. I mean, what girl?
I feel like I could feel the masculine energy through the computer. And no hate on her, because she's a very pretty woman, but it's just a little bit too much for me. But Xavier, we just heard exactly what that woman wants. You know, she wants a good communicator, someone who, you know, she wants an all around dude. And I don't think I think guys think you could just be a dude and make money and be in a successful relationship. And that's not it. What you're seeing on social media with these successful guys who are in these toxic relationships, they don't have any of the other stuff that they just talked about. And so what we're trying to do is, yes, you have to get to the money. That's going to be the first thing that you have to do.
Sure.
You have to get to the money.
For sure.
But if you're not a good communicator, if you don't empathize with her, if you don't have a sense of style, if you're not providing experiences, then you're never going to be able to keep a woman. And
Right.
I think that's what most men forget. And I think most men out here, they're not good options because not only do they not have a good job, but they don't have any of the other intangibles that women want.
Facts. I think one thing I got from the group, from the video, is that the whole friendship thing. It's like, I think that's the hardest thing that I'm trying to find is because, okay, and I want to talk about this because I was talking about this with one of my girlfriends this past weekend. You have to go through a whole phase. I don't care where you are in life. You have, like, as I feel like as young individuals, you have to go through a phase where you are just strictly, one, trying to learn about yourself, two, learning what you like, what you don't like in sex, and then three, just overall just understanding that this is a part of a relationship and not the relationship. I think that's so
100%,
bro, because I really got it messed up and I got my heart broken. I really got it messed up and I got my heart broken when I started to mix the two up. It was basically lust and love. And so what I thought was love, great sex, we going out to different dinners, like we're going to watch movies, da-da-da. What I thought that was, oh, this girl really likes me. This girl really wants a relationship with me. When really it was just lust. We were having great sex and we could move past the great sex. And so to go back to the whole friendship piece, it's like if you don't have that friendship piece and you only have that sexual passion, like the relationship is going to crumble. We talked at the very beginning of the podcast, I referenced about a woman with a foundation. With a woman with a foundation, what you want to do is making sure that her values align with yours. So if you're family oriented, if you're financially stable, financially literate, like you have some similar or common things that you like about her, then that's a green light. That's a green flag. You should 100% go forward. But it's kind of hard to do that in today's dating age. At least the hardest part for me is trying to find where these women at. I just need to find them where they're at. Because I will tell you, the weird niggas are at the club. Like I can just guess, and I ain't even gotta be 100% right, but I know that some weird niggas at the club. Where are the great women? Like, and that's maybe we need to bring a guest on and like ask one of these women out here, where are they, looking for their men at? But shit.
Hey, look, this is what I realized. Like, I feel like the great women are at the house, and you have to just knock on the door.
They at the house. We gotta knock on their door.
You just have to get lucky, go to a random house, knock on the door, and hope she's bad and goes to the gym.
Golly. Yeah, fingers crossed, bro.
Fingers crossed, bro.
Nah,
that brings me perfectly into my next point. Like, have men and women's standards, like how have they developed over the time? And I'm talking about the last 10 years, like since social media has been present. How has men's standard changed and how has women's standard changed?
I think obviously the standard has increased just because of quality of life has increased. People are making the most money that they ever have in previous generations. Mm-hmm. But also with the invention of social media and stuff like that, it has skewed the time frame of when you're supposed to achieve this success. So taking me as a 25-year-old male, there is like, I forgot what this statistic was about the average men and like how many percent of men are above the height of 6 feet or make, above 100K. But it's just like, it's very, very, a very small group. And so when you're looking at all these men that have this, oh, he got a house, he got a Tesla, he got the bus down, he got this. And it's just like, that's such a small percentage of men that for you to find a second man would be a second rare occurrence. Like, and that's what I be trying to tell these folks. It's like what I do, the work that I put in, like the work that I put into my life, the intentionality that I have around like everything that I do, you're not gonna find that everywhere. You're just not.
No, bro. And here's the thing, like, I can't find a statistic right now, but the average American is making $42,000 a year, and the average man at the age of 20 through 30 is making about $23,000 to $26,000 a year. So what I think has happened is social media has created an entirely new world that people are living in and operating in, separate from reality. And in this new world, they are bringing their new world standards into reality. And that, I think, is the disconnect between men and women right now, because women are seeing something on social media that is a complete facade, and they're bringing that complete facade into real life. And when it doesn't work out, they're becoming depressed.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say it like that is because when you tell a woman the data and statistics, she looks at you and acts like you didn't say it.
But it's because, and this is when people need to read Men Are From Mars, Women From Venus. You cannot approach an argument with a woman with logic-based facts, bro. You just can't.
No, you can't.
If you're doing that, and that's something we had to tell our other best friend, that he was trying to come with like, oh, well, if this equals this, this, and this, and it's just like, you can't come with facts and figures, because she gonna instantly wave all that stuff up and say that you are not validating her feelings, and then like everything you said is out the window. So
you literally might as well not say nothing. And the thing about it is, you could say all day, oh yeah, the average man in their 20s are making $25,000 a year, but because there are blue checks in her DM,
crazy,
in the facade,
crazy,
she thinks now that, okay, these guys are obtainable for me. She might be average. Right. She might be below average. But the blue check dudes are messing with all the women. As we said, 90-10.
Bro.
So because those guys would give her a little bit of attention, now her standards, instead of being average, are way above
crazy.
Average. And crazy. That's where the disconnect is.
Yeah. Because it's like that top percent of men that got the blue check, they know they can have sex with any woman that they want. And so it gets to a point where if your heart is beating, they're gonna try to shoot at you. They're gonna try to slide your DMs. Like,
and trust me, I know some of these blue check dudes. Like, I know exactly what's going on. Literally exactly. And I'm not even gonna say I haven't dabbled in it too. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a blue check on my gram on purpose.
Right.
But like, I know exactly what's going on. And so that kind of brings me perfectly into the next point, the synchronization, because I also got another question. And I'm gonna go ahead and read it, because it was a great question. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't going to answer it, but Xavier had put it in a way that I think made a lot of sense. So she asked, instead of giving mixed signals, why can't men just be straight up and say they don't want to mess with us instead of acting brand new? Like, why lead us on? For what? And so the way I want to answer this question is in synchronization. And if synchronization, if you don't know what that means, it basically means your life is in alignment. And so when you meet a woman, the first thing a man does is see if you can synchronize with his life. Well, let me just, a masculine man, a man that you want. He's going to see if you can synchronize in your life. And so I gave the example. Actually, Xavier, do you want to explain the example, or you want me to do it?
Yeah, you got it. And then I'll come with the answer. Yeah.
Okay. So if a woman wants to know if she's going to get taken seriously, she should look and see if she fits in this guy's life and if she's equally yoked. So if this woman is talking to a high value man, he's got a blue check, he's this and that, and she has a kid, she might not necessarily be as mobile and as synchronous in his life as he wants her to be.
Yeah.
And so because of that, he might still have sex with you. He might still lead you on because you look good, but he won't take you seriously because you don't fit into his life well.
Facts. Yeah. So 100%. Like, and so the question that was posed And I'm starting to realize that this is a more common thing as we get older, 25, 26, 27.
Yeah.
Is would I date a single mother? That was the question. And
Yep.
so me personally, it would be a no. But this comes back to the synchronization point. It's less about like, the baby and being like a stepfather as it is. I, as a 25-year-old male, would like to live out my youth, in mobility. I would like to travel. I would like to get up and go whenever I would like to. And I don't think single mothers necessarily have that mobility just to be like, oh, like, let's go to Turks and Caicos. Let's go to, the DR this weekend, like different things like that. So that's another thing that you have to see. So, but for example, my brother, so he just got married to a wonderful lady, Shay. Shout out to Shay. But she has her 9-year-old daughter, KK. And so I think for my brother, why it worked out so well, like him and his relationship, is that I think he had his life set up in a way where she was on the same wave. Even with a child, she was just as mobile as he would like to be, even though like he ain't just, traveling, jet setting like everywhere. But, they'll go to Aruba, they go to Dubai, different stuff like that.
Right.
So
Right.
I think he made it more so work for him. So that's not to say like, me dating a single mother will never work out. It's just more so I think I have to be more so ready. So if I'm older and I want to be more settled down, then maybe like, yeah, I can probably talk to a girl with like a kid or two, because like my life isn't as mobile. But as me right now, yeah, I can't do it.
But didn't you mention that your brother didn't want kids?
Yeah, and
that's a factor too.
Yeah. So if you see yourself, and like this goes with the whole synchronization, like even if you're not a person that wants kids, and I've talked to other girls where they're just like, because of the death the death rate for like especially Black women when it comes to like birthing children, most girls are just like, I'm not gonna do it. And so, which is understandable. But at the same time, this is why I found out this is sometimes why they date men with children, is that they don't want kids themselves. And so they see their kid as like, okay, this is like my child now. So, and that's when it comes back to the whole synchronization. It's just like, even if you're listening to our podcast and you're a single dad with a child, like, as long as you can find a woman that's willing to work in that schedule, knowing that you have another life that you have to take care of, then that's the woman that you want to go for.
Right.
So,
and I think to go deeper into the synchronization topic, I think this is one of the most important things that a king could do and a queen could do in her life, in his life too, because you need all aspects of your life to complement each other. And so often I see people with conflicting actions in their life. They say they want one thing, but then their actions say the complete opposite. And so here's what I mean by that. So with synchronization, the way how I've synchronized my life is I work at the bank. I give out millions of dollars on commercial real estate loans. This is exactly what I did in college. And I got my master's in real estate. And I was interested in real estate because my dad is a real estate lawyer. So I took my competitive advantage of always being around the real estate market. And I'm now making money from that because I was focused. And so I say that to say, okay, I work at the bank. I'm doing real estate. I also have a podcast, and I have my real estate license here in Austin, Texas. It's really in Texas. And so what I can do now is I could sell residential houses. And so, okay, like that's a nice side gig. Let me sell residential houses while I work at the bank, giving out commercial loans, because they both are the same knowledge. One's just on a bigger scale. And then the podcast is a way for me to get my name out there as a realtor to make more money.
Right.
And so the way how a woman would synchronize with me is if she was also a realtor, or she was really in the gym, or she was good at marketing, like my business, and she was good at, just doing just tasks that I need, because I'm also going to law school. So if she could help me, stay motivated, stuff like that.
Where you're weak. So you cut some of your weak points. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I think that's the best way to not only synchronize your life, but for women, have a man take you seriously is when you can find his weak points and address them. And it takes time. And that's not something that you could just meet on the first date and you know. Beautiful. That takes time.
Yeah, fair.
But if you can address his weak points, he will never leave you. Man. Literally, he will never leave you.
Never. He's in there.
I can tell you exactly what my weak points are. It's cooking. It's staying focused on one task.
I was about to say cooking.
And it's waking up in the morning. Right. Ironically.
And let's just, put this caution out there. Is when we say our weak points is somebody else's very strong point. Because like when we say we like food and like waking up, like we already waking up at like 7 and then making food ourselves. We're making lunch and dinner for ourselves. We're just saying if that task could be, if somebody else would have more passion doing that task than me,
right?
And I don't no longer have to do it. This is who I need. Man,
this is perfect.
You got me. Yeah, that's the only thing I need.
And this is what we call synergy. Yeah. Everything is helping each other.
Yeah.
And this is why network is so important, because Xavier is good at a lot of things that I'm not good at, and vice versa. We have a lot of synergy.
Yeah.
And so if you can find a woman that's synergistic with you, if you can set up businesses and things around you that are synergistic and that make sense, you will have synchronized your life and you will be the best version of yourself, and you will have the best version of the relationship as you can.
Thanks.
So how do you find that? That's going to be another podcast.
Man, yes. Finding it, yes. Man.
Oh man, so I just want to leave because we're right at an hour. We don't like to take this over an hour.
Okay.
But I just want to leave this with an experiment that I'm doing right now, and so I'm gonna kind of be doing this on a week-to-week basis because, if I hate staying stagnant. I have a growth mindset. I like to do things that help me become a better person, and so what I've done this week is I've deleted Instagram starting on last Saturday. So I haven't had Instagram for what is it, Tuesday? So 2 days now. And what I'm going to do the next podcast is report the results. But just know I've deleted Instagram. So if you hit me up on Instagram, I'm not going to respond to you at all. So don't feel bad.
They'll hear this at the end of the week and be like, damn, that's why he ain't said nothing.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, but thank you guys for watching. It's been a wonderful podcast. We're going to try to get better at these, but these are super fun. I love doing
bro. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.